Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. My name is Marquise Williams. I'd like to welcome you to the Saturday Morning Freedom Training. I'm super duper excited to have each and every one of you plugged in on the line with us this morning. First and foremost, I want to welcome all the new champions that have joined our team this week. You guys, it really means a lot for you to be plugged in onto training. A lot of people have the misconception that to be successful, it takes excitement and it takes enthusiasm and all those things are great. They're integral parts of being successful, especially in our industry. But the difference between amateurs and professionals is training, is actually knowing what to do. And that's what training provides you the ability to be able to know what to do. Now, I was sitting back doing some reflecting yesterday, and one of the things that I came up in my reflections that I posted on social media today is I got to thinking, and when you think about anniversaries, whether it's a wedding anniversary, whether it's a business anniversary or anniversary at your job, or any type of anniversary, it's a time for celebration. It's a time for being proud and being thankful that you made it another year within whatever thing that it is that you're celebrating. Sobriety, whatever the case may be. But it's also a time for reflection and growth. It's time to look back and say, okay, why did I make it another year? And did I just barely stagger over the finish line for this next year? If I do the same things that I did last year, will I make it another year? So it's a time for reflection and growth, and for you to begin to look at what adjustments do I need to make it to yet another year. For those of you who are on the line who are married or even in relationships, relationships take work. It takes growth. It takes communication and understanding. And, if you don't have that communication open, if you're not willing to grow, then a lot of times the relationship doesn't work. You grow apart, you get tired of each other, and different things transpire and happen during that relationship. It's no different in business. So I say that to say JMG Network just hit its 8th year anniversary. It was awesome. We were excited. It was a time for celebration. But also, it's a time for reflection and growth. And you begin to look at and you appreciate and you're thankful for all the people that are plugged in and are part of the vision and are part of the mission to improve the lives of as many people as possible. But then you begin to look at, okay, I believe what we have is the most phenomenal thing in the world. I believe it's the most awesome thing that somebody could be a part of. So you begin to look at, well, why don't I have hundreds or thousands of people on these calls, on these trainings that they want to be a part of the life business? And so that's where you go into adjustment mode. What adjustments do I need to make? What do I need to do to make it to the next year? Because there's only two things that we do in this business, you guys. We gather customers and we find other people like ourselves who are interested in changing their life financially, and we teach them how to do the same thing, gather customers. Now, there's different strategies and there's different techniques that we utilize, but that's the meat and potatoes of it all. That's the primary, those are the two things that we get paid to do. And if we don't do those two things, primarily if there's no customers, there's no company. There's no company. So when you look at, okay, what things can I do to grow? It's all about reaching out and connecting with more people. More people. And so today I want to talk to you about the lovely art of networking, the lovely art of recruiting, the lovely art of understanding how to communicate and speak with people. The first lesson is to understand there's no special there's no special thing that you need to do. There's no magic script. There's no magic words that you say to make them go along with what you want. The key is to speak from your heart. But not only speak from your heart, but follow the directions. And what I mean by that is there's something called an invitation, right? There's something called an invitation. But there's also something called a presentation. Invitation, presentation. Invitation, presentation. Now, when those two begin to overlap, when those two begin to become one, that is where you have a problem. What do you mean, Marquise? Why do I have a problem? Well, you have a problem because you fall into something we call the valley of death. What's the valley of death? The valley of death is where you start attempting to give a presentation during the invitation. And that's why it's more important for you to say less to more people. One, because this is a numbers game. If we're going to get the information in front of as many people as possible, then we have to sort through people. We got to find the right people. So if you're inviting people and they're not really the right person, and you start giving a presentation, you just wasted your time giving a presentation to the wrong person that was going to say no anyway. But if you invite them and you set them up for a presentation and they don't come, or the tools, the conference call, the website does the presentation for you, and they say yes or they say no, you just saved the time that you would have been giving them a presentation and starting them off wrong. You have to understand there's cogs that all play a major role in the subconscious development of people, and I'll touch on that in a second. But the time that you spent giving them a presentation or starting to give them a presentation, and it's not a conscious presentation that you're attempting to give, but what happens is they start asking you questions. Well, what is it? What's the product? What's the company? How much does it cost? And you feel obligated to start answering their questions instead of telling them, hey, that's why I'm setting the appointment, to get you 100% of the information. Hey, I want you to see what I saw that got me excited, so let's get you in front of 100% of the information. Hey, I'm new. I don't want to mess it up for you. That's why I want to get you in front of 100% of the information. So instead of saying that, you start answering questions, and see what people subconsciously do is they look for a reason to say no. If I walked up to you and I said, hey, I'm going to sell you my Jaguar for $5. Instead of thanking God for the blessing, first thing you're going to do is say, what's wrong with it? You're going to think something's wrong with it. We see stuff on the internet, or we see stuff in life. First thing we Google is, let me find what's wrong with it. Let me look for the problem, because I want to make sure I don't get got. Instead of realizing this might be the answer to my prayers. This might be what I'm looking for. I need to be thankful. But that's just how the subconscious mind works. So when you understand that, you can make sure that you don't position yourself to nurture that wrong way of thinking. Hey, let me protect you from you. That's what you got to think in your head and get you 100% of the information. Because when you start to give a little bit, what people try to do is they try to take a piece, a corner off a beautiful painting and determine what the painting looks like. There's no way to determine what the painting looks like from just a corner. So you have to give them the full picture, and that's why you get them in front of 100% of the information. Will some people not be willing to set appointments with you? Will some people not be willing to get 100% of the information? Absolutely. Some people are going to be just like that, but that's okay. You have the gold. You have the gold mine. You have the golden nuggets. They just disqualified themselves from the awesomeness that you have. See, if I gave each and every one of you $1,000, if I give each and every one of you $1,000 and I told you, hey, go around Times Square and give out $100 to 10 people. So you're walking around, $100 bills, $100 bills. I'm giving out $100 bills. We know New Yorkers. They're crazy. They're rude. They can be. I won't say New Yorkers are rude, but they can be rude. So you're gonna have people who call you names. People who tell you, "You idiot, you schmuck, get out the street. What the is wrong with you? Get out of here." But you're gonna have that one person 10 times. Eventually, it may happen in 10 minutes. It may happen in 10 hours. We don't know. But you're gonna have those 10 people. They may pass you. They gonna look back like, "That dude for real? You giving out $100 bills? I don't know. It may be a scam, but man, I need to pay. I need something. That things ain't going right in my life. Let me just go and just see. They gonna reach out. They gonna receive the $100 bill." I said, "Wow, he actually gave me the $100 bill. Thank you, Jesus. That was a blessing." And see, the key, the when you're in the blessing distribution business, you gotta receive the blessing before you can distribute it to others. Some of you are in, but you just in the neutral zone. You haven't really received the blessing for yourself. You haven't truly believed that it can happen for you. You in, you see Brother Paulie, he make millions. He's on Black Enterprise magazine, Ebony, Sister to Sister. He got books out. You see, well, that's Brother Paulie. It's just happening for him. You see Brother Lockie, you see Jason Lee, you see Money Mike. Oh, they just, it just works for them. They're different. They're good at this. No, we just follow the system. You see me when I first got started, you would never think that the end result would be 7-figure earner, financial and time freedom, good speaker, somebody who's changing the lives of others. You would have looked at me and said, "No chance. He has no chance of being successful in this deal. I don't even know what he's thinking about." That's why we don't judge people. It's not our job to decide who goes on the list. It's our job to share the information. It's their job to decide if they should be on the list. So I'm giving you the foundation. We haven't even gotten to the skill set of recruiting, because if you don't have the right foundation, if you don't have the right mindset, then you'll never go out and be able to do it, because it's 90% mental. It's 90% confidence, 90% swag, 90% belief of knowing that you got something that's awesome that's going to change that person's life. I tell people all the time when I sit down and I give the presentation, I don't care what your financial situation is. I will take your last dollar, because I know I'm going to turn it into hundreds of dollars. And have no remorse doing it. Have no remorse doing it. That's how confident I am in our system and our ability to make some things happen. Now, some of you, if you've been in a while, maybe life has dealt you a tough hand. Maybe you've experienced some issues, and the problem is, when we allow life to get in the way, and we're still attempting to do the business, our mind registers it as effort. Our mind registers it as work. So when our mind registers it as work, but we're really not, here it goes. When our mind registers it as work, it doesn't know how to distinguish activity from productivity. So when we're really, really active, but we don't see any productivity, we get frustrated because we feel like, man, we're active, we're doing something. But when there's no productivity, your mind gets frustrated because they don't see any fruits of the labors. They don't see any fruits of the labors. And what we have to do is we have to fall in love with the process, not the end results. Fall in love with the process. When you understand, okay, I eat right, I walk, we'll keep it very, very, very moderate, considerate, of the numbers. Um, I eat right. I walk. Get up and walk in the mornings. I don't eat a lot of sugar. But man, in 2 days, I haven't lost any weight. You're in love with the end results. When you fall in love with the process and you stay consistent, you keep eating right, keeping the sugar low, you keep walking, then pretty soon the pounds are going to start dropping. And eventually you're going to start to see the results. See, sometimes we start talking to people. We may even talk to them wrong, but we don't look at the fact that we're doing it wrong. We just look at the fact that they said no. We just look at the fact that they're not joining fast enough. We get broke off, and pretty soon, instead of talking to two people a day, we talk to one person a day. Instead of getting on every conference call, we get on the conference call every once in a while when we feel like it. And then pretty soon we stop talking to people because we figure, well, what's the point? Then we get on the conference call, when we feel like it, we start justifying, well, if I don't have any guests, there's really no point in me getting on the conference call. Guys, you have to realize that when you got in this deal, that you got involved with something that's going to change your life. But you have to be consistent and be willing to do the work. If you're not willing to do the work, it's going to be very hard to be successful. If you're not willing to schedule for success, it's going to be very hard for success to find you. So there's several recruiting methods that have helped me become very successful in my life. Obviously, there's the direct recruiting method. You walking up to people, whether you meet them at the gas station, the restaurant, the mall, wherever you meet somebody, and you just smile and say, hey, I like your posture, or you seem like a quality person. Do you keep your options open to a side project? Make more money if it didn't interfere with what you're currently doing right now? Do you keep your options open to a side project that wouldn't to make more money if it didn't interfere with what you're currently doing right now? You got 3 answers that you're generally going to get. No. All right, cool, man. Well, great meeting you. Or you just change the subject if you're still going to be there. 2, yes. All right, great. Let's exchange contact information. We'll sit down for coffee or juice, and I'll get you the information. Or let's exchange contact information. I'll give you a call, and we'll get you all the details. What's the best time to call you? Or the infamous, well, what is it? It depends. And that's where that's where people get hung up a lot. People feel like they got to answer the question, well, what is it? Then they got to feel like, oh, it's a network marketing company. We get 3 people or 5 customers, and we sell financial services and food and merchant services, and you go down 7 levels, you can make $12,000 a month, and you get the superstar, you get the rock star, and that's what it is. But no, that's not the time to spill the beans. That's the time to keep your posture. A lot of people wonder, why don't you post a lot about JMG Net Worth on your Facebook? We live in the age of Google. I post everything about JMG Net Worth on my Facebook. All they're gonna do is go Google it and make their decision based on what they Google. I have to build anticipation. I have to build curiosity, so they wonder what I'm talking about. They ask me, "Hey, what you talking about?" And I can say, "Hey, would you at all keep your options open to a side project to make more money if it didn't interfere with what you're currently doing right now?" Yeah, that works. You set it up. You build people's curiosity. You pique their interest. You pique their interest. So what is it? Wait, man, I don't got a lot of time to get into it right now. But hey, let's exchange contact information. I'll give you a call and I'll get you all the details. It's that simple. It's that simple. So for people who are a little bit less outgoing, people who are a little bit more afraid of rejection, yeah, you want to get over that fear of rejection. But we also have things that you can purchase called sizzle cards. Sizzle cards are cards that you get that go to some type of appointment line or even a pre-recorded message. And I do this all the time. Sometimes I don't really feel like talking and recruiting. It's just, you got to be honest with yourself sometimes. You don't want it to be all the time where I just don't feel like it today. I don't feel like it tomorrow. I don't feel like it ever. That's fear of rejection. You got to be honest with yourself. But with a Sizzle card, it'll say something like, hey, make $400 a day the easy way, working from home, or, part-time income, $700 to $1,000 a month, flexible schedule, will train. You walk around and you give them the card. You say, hey, if you know this, if you know somebody this would be a blessing to, pass it along to them. What's going to happen is they're either going to keep it and say, shoot, I need this, or they're going to pass it along to somebody else. Or they might throw it on the ground, in which somebody else may come and pick it up. But what you're doing is you're planting seeds. So you have to look at yourself like a farmer, okay? What a farmer does is they're going to plant seeds. And if a farmer is somebody who doesn't have a lot of money in the beginning, if they don't have a lot of seeds in the beginning, they got to start somewhere. So they may take an apple and they may plant the seeds from that apple, right? And that apple, those seeds are going to produce a tree, which are going to produce fruits. Now, from that tree with those fruits, the farmer can say, okay, great, we got apples we can eat. And there's a problem when you begin to eat your seed, because then it just stops right there. But then the farmer can say, okay, I'm going to take these seeds and I'm going to plant more trees. And pretty soon they have an orchard. But the problem comes in, a lot of people say, well, I'm hungry right now. I got to eat right now. I got hunger pains right now. Instead of cutting the apple in half and eating half the apple and planting the rest of the seeds, they just eat the whole apple. And I'm telling you right now, if you want to find yourself with more leverage, if you want to find your James G. Networth business exploding, if you want to see it grow more, you got to plant more seeds. You got to talk to more people. Whether you're putting out Sizzle cards, which I will say, the ratio between talking to somebody and getting a phone number and placing any type of flyer or Sizzle card is usually a 10-to-1 ratio. For every person that you talk to personally, you have to put out 10 flyers to reach that same type of result, to get a contact. So while it's less direct to give a Sizzle card or place a flyer out, it's also a longer process to achieve the desired harvest. But they're all planting seeds. I do all of them. There's a technique where you can buy a Brother 2770 stamp, and this is also in the Focus Marketing System training section. It tells the whole system. You can buy the stamp, put the message on it, go buy some regular average Post-its that you use, and you stamp those bad boys, and you go and you post them around the city. You post them around, put them on gas station pumps. Oh, that's another thing with Sizzle cards. Put them in the credit card readers, at gas station pumps. People got to pull them out to put their credit card in, right? You're planting seeds. But if you don't have the Sizzle cards, you only have the Post-its, which the stamp is about $20. Obviously, Post-its, you'll get 100 for $5. Very cost-effective, inexpensive way of marketing. But you're just posting the Post-its everywhere. We got pull tab flyers that you can download from the back office. Put your phone number in, and then just go post them places. These are inexpensive ways that you can market and plant seeds to develop leads. People are wondering, why their business isn't growing, but they're not planting any seeds. They're not talking to anybody. And see, what you have to understand is there are people praying for opportunity. And you might be the answer to their prayers. But because you're afraid, because you're too busy, or because you have too much going on, because you're not planting the seeds, because you're not distributing the blessing, people are missing out on their blessing. They're missing out on their goals and their dreams. We're all conduits to pass along information and blessings and joy and happiness to other people. You have to allow yourself to be a conduit. We have to come together as a team, you guys. We have to build the culture. In order to do that, we have to begin to create success stories so that as other people come into the culture, they have faith and belief. But when people begin to come into the culture and they see people who aren't successful, they don't associate, oh, he or she wasn't willing to do the work. They just associate, oh, the company doesn't work. And so we desperately want your success story. We want to see you win. Because for you to win, I don't win unless I help you win. But in order for you to win, in order for me to help you, we got to plant some seeds. We got to have some people that we can share the vision with. There's also leads. You could just purchase leads of people who are interested. There's a lot of things that you can do, but it's important for you to understand you're either going to need one of two types of currency. You're going to need money to invest in some type of marketing, sizzle cards, leads, or something like that. You need money to market your business and get the word out there, or you're going to need sweat equity. You're going to need sweat equity. You need to get out and pound the pavement and be able to get the word out. Sometimes that might be a little bit difficult. You may have to work. You may be a mother. You may be a father, a husband, or a wife. But you're going to have to talk to the loved ones in your life and let them know your vision and what you want to accomplish from this, and tell them, hey, we may not have as much time as we want right now, but I'm doing this so that we can have all the time in the world. So you have to make temporary investments so that you can get where you want. But your return on your investment is far much more greater. Remember, wealthy people don't look at how much something's going to cost them. They look at how much something is going to make them. And that's going to be one of the biggest powers of this money shifting strategy that we're going to be implementing. I've always talked about, you've always seen in the back office how to adjust your taxes. Some of you have already done it. But see, I'm taking it a step further now of understanding the whole shifting philosophy. See, the reason that we do what we do is a simple saying called cash, asset, cash. See, the reason that you adjust your W-4 to bring in more cash flow is so that you can have more cash. But see, the thing that loses a lot of people is they take that extra cash and they go and they party, they buy shoes, and they spend it on more liabilities. But the whole point of creating the additional cash flow is so that you can put it towards paying off debt and assets. Because if you pay off debt, then that additional $300 cash flow that you're making a month from lowering your W-4, that turns into $700 a month because you paid off your debt. And now you're not paying off the debt anymore, so that adds to your cash flow. And when you take the cash flow from that one thing, that one strategy, and you take the additional income because you invested in the asset, which is your JMG Net Worth business, both of those create more cash. And that allows you to put yourself in a position to where you can invest your money. And why is investing your money so important? Well, let me break it down to you. And this is where the whole money shifting philosophy comes from. When you work a job, you have a W-2. W-2s are taxed anywhere, and W-2 is just a tax code. A W-2 is taxed anywhere from 28 to 32%. 28 to 32%. And see, a lot of people think, the problem is when we started when we started introducing these tax strategies and we put it in the back office, people thought it was associated with the business because you get the tax write-offs and things from the business. And see, there's actually a distinction there. And what I want to help you understand the distinction is it's totally separate. See, if you look at adjusting your W-4 alone, it's simply because your tax return is something that was already yours. Re means again. Fund means money. So you're getting your money again. And when you look at the whole money shifting philosophy, we're simply taking the money back from the people who took it from us. I've always said money only comes from one place, and that's people. So when you think about it, where does the government get their money from? They get it from us when we pay our taxes, right? Where do the banks get their money from? They get it from us when we make deposits into our bank account. So if government gets their money from us and the banks get their money from us, they fooled us into thinking that we need them, when in all actuality, they need us. They take our money and they invest it. And I'm going to tell you why this is important here in a second. They invest it. And when they invest our money, they make millions and billions off of our money. And then they give it back to you at the end of the year. That's like me borrowing a new pair of your shoes and me walking around in them as my primary pair of shoes for a year. And then at the end of a year, giving them back to you like, yo, man, thanks for letting me use these shoes. I appreciate it. You're not going to get the use out of them shoes. So the primary strategy, the beginning, when we talk about cash flow management, we're talking about, hey, you got bills. You got things going on in your life. You got debt you got to pay. And that debt is usually originated from you paying all those taxes. See, the reality of the situation, you make $50,000 a year. That's your gross. You take home 30 net because you had to pay so much in taxes. Well, now because you got that missing 20, you got to go borrow 20. But you got to pay back 24 on that 20 that you borrowed. See, it's so crazy the way the system works. So all we're saying is, hey, get that money up front. Get that money up front. It has nothing to do with the JMG Net Worth business. We're teaching these financial strategies so that you understand how to increase your cash flow, so that you can pay off debt, so that you can invest in your JMG Net Worth business. Because why do people quit? Oh, man, I got this $50 going out every single month for my financial worth, and even though I'm really not willing to do the work, even though I'm not really falling in love with the process, I'm only falling in love with the end result. All I see is $50 going out a month. All I see is $20 going out a month. All I see is if I got my spouse on with me, all I see is $120 going out every single month. Now realizing that the whole $120 is a tax write-off, you're never losing money. You're not realizing that because subconsciously you're only looking at the end result. You're not thinking like a business person. But if we allow you to get that money up front, by changing your W-4s, now you're making an extra $300 to $500 a month. So even if you took that $300 to $500 a month and you just put it in a savings account, an investment account, you're still going to end up better off than if you just gave it to the government to invest all year. Now, don't get it twisted. Don't not pay taxes. Don't file exempt because you still got to pay some type of taxes, you guys. That's important. You got to leave some in there to pay some type of tax because we don't want you to owe either. But when you get a refund, that means you paid too much in your taxes. So you're just getting your money back. But if you get that money on the front end, now you can pay off debt. Start getting your debt down, paying less interest on the debt because you're lowering the debt. Now you can cover your JMG Net Worth business. You can cover marketing for your JMG Net Worth business, which is going to produce more cash because it's an income producing asset. Income producing asset. So that W-2 money, that W-2 money that you were making more of, this taxed at 28 to 32%. See, as a W-2, you go to work, you're taxed on your money, and then you get to spend what's left over. But see, if you get that money up front, they can't tell you to spend what's left over, right? So you're taxed at a lower level. And then when you move over to a 1099, a business, strategy number 2, what happens is as a 1099, now you're taxed from 18 to 23%. So you already see why you need a home business, right? Because you're taxed at a lower percentage rate. And as a home business owner, now you get to write off your lifestyle. You get to write off your lifestyle, you guys. Let me break it down for you. You get to write off the things that you're going to do if you make it a part of business. So when you go out, if you leave a business card, if you leave a sizzle card, you talk to somebody about the business, you get to write off 50% of that meal. How awesome is that? A percentage of your utilities, a percentage of your rent or your mortgage. It's all a write-off. So you begin writing off your lifestyle. And those are where the tax deductions come in. Those are where the tax deductions come in. A lot of people start blending the two and they're combining the two, and they're two totally separate things. But you have to be making a effort to build your business. A lot of people think they can just take a loss for 10 years and they can keep writing off things. No, the government's going to be like, hey, bro, you building a business? Sister, you got a hobby over there? You trying to trick the system? So you got to be working on something to be successful so that you can continue to write off that lifestyle. But the government, see, if you recognize, anytime the government wants you to do something, they give you tax deductions, right? You get married, you get a tax what? Deduction, right? So if they're giving us tax write-offs and deductions to be a business owner, it's obvious the government wants us to be business owners. Because, see, everybody can't get a tax break. The employee is taxed the most. The business owner gets the tax write-offs. Why? Because if they give the business owner the tax write-offs, then the business owner can begin to go and create more jobs. And so remember last week, we talked about the five obstacles, right? Inflation, taxes, debt, credit, and financial education are big business. So they understand they're going to get your money somehow. They're going to get the employee somehow. But the more savvy people who become business owners, they're going to be able to get those tax write-offs that we're talking about right now. And eventually, you want to get to a place where you're an investor, because investors, the money is taxed at under 15%. That's where your money is working for you. We're talking about capital gains. We're talking about dividends, and we're talking about home businesses. That's why your home business is so important. So that's why it's called money shifting. You want to shift your money from a W-2 through a home business to get to the point where you can invest your money and start getting tax relief. And see, the way that the investments work is your money goes and makes you money, which is reinvested and keeps making you money. And it's not taxed until you actually pull it out, in which at that point it's taxed less than 15%. So you guys, we're on an economic empowerment movement. And this money shifting strategy is going to take the average person, because at the end of the presentation, we're going to simply say three things. You're either going to be a 1, 2, or a 3, right? Third type of person says, thanks, but no thanks. I prefer to just be a customer. We'll say, great. Get the My Financial Worth service. Change your financial situation with it. Buy some food. Get the merchant services. We love your support. Second type of person says, hey, I'm in, but I'm just in for the money shifting strategy. I don't really want to recruit nobody. I don't really want to be in the business like that. And that's probably going to be a lot of people. A lot of people are not getting in your business right now because they don't want to recruit. They're afraid to recruit. They think that they cannot be successful in recruiting. But guess what? We're going to say, awesome. Let's get you started. Let's turn on your My Financial Worth service so that you can start utilizing our financial strategies and improving your financial situation with our My Financial Worth service. Now, is a customer a customer a customer? If you're a senior director and you want 50 customers so that you can get to the freedom bonus, which is $500 a month, do you care if they come in and they want to build a team, or if they just come in and they just want to utilize the strategy? Do you care? No, you don't. If you are a marketing affiliate and you're working on getting to a point where you can become a senior director and you need 12 customers on your team, do you care if they come in and want to build a team, or do you care? No, you don't. Because the goal is to change the lives of as many people as possible. The goal is to build residual income. And the more customers you have, the more residual income you have. And what happens is those people who come in as number twos, they start increasing their cash flow. And they start making more money. And then they end up telling other people. And though they didn't want to recruit, they end up recruiting indirectly, subconsciously. Because the other people say, well, I want cash flow management too. I want to change my financial situation too. And they end up joining anyway. So it's a beautiful thing, you guys. And obviously the third, number one says, hey, I'm all in. I want the money shifting. I want the bonuses. I want to get the senior director. I want to do all of it. And obviously those are the people who, we love the most, but we love them all. But I want you guys to prepare yourself, because as we wind down the year, I need you planting the most seeds, as many seeds as you possibly can, because the more people who see this information, the more people who are going to get excited about the life business. And we got a lot of things that we have hanging in the winds, but there has to be some excitement in the company. That's why it's important to jump on the calls, because we're building the excitement. It's important for you to get on the calls on time. Like some of you jumped on while you're at work right now, and that's cool. But when it comes to the freedom call, we need you to sneak off to the bathroom. We need you to duck down under a desk and say, hey, this is so-and-so calling from so-and-so. Team focus. And then mute yourself back out. That's cool. But we need to create more excitement at the beginning of the calls, because when the guests get on the calls, they're going to be like, wow. That gives them another element to just want to join, because people love to be a part of something. So I'm giving you guys the intangibles. I'm giving you guys the behind-the-scenes things that's going to help you build your business and be more successful. But it's really simple. And I'm going to be right there assisting you. For those of you who are out of town, whether you're in Philly, whether you're in Fort Wayne, whether you're in DeSoto, I want to start coming there and helping you build your business. I want to be there for you. And it's our time to win and be successful. But it all starts with you believing in yourself, believing in the industry, and believing in our company. Paul Jones has done a lot to make this business thrive. He's put an awesome opportunity before us, and we have to show our appreciation by going out and spreading the word. So I hope you got something from training today. Man, I love you guys to death. I appreciate you being a part of the team, a part of the family, and now I want to help you build your success story. I want to help you end the year strong and start 2017 right now, so we go into the actual new year with momentum. But it's going to take focus. For those of you who are new, focus stands for firmly on course until successful. We got to build this prosperity community, and you got to understand what to do when you're feeling down. People who are in AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, people who have substance abuse issues, they understand when they're about to relapse. They understand when they're about to have an issue. So they know where to turn before they hit that breaking point. you find yourself not finding the calls very important, if you find yourself justifying not getting on the calls, if you find yourself not talking to your upline or your sponsor, if not every day, every other day, if you find yourself ignoring calls or texts from your upline or your sponsor, then you're in the danger zone, my friend. Stop justifying, and you got to get on the phone with your sponsor, your upline. That's why personal growth and development is so important every single day. That's why getting up and spending 10 minutes visualizing, meditating on your vision is important every single day, because these are key. They may seem stupid, they may make you feel stupid, but these are things that are going to keep you in the game and get you to the promised land of where you want to be. I always say it, and it may seem cliche, but I believe it in my heart, and that's why I say it at the end of every call, at the end of every video. You are the best investment that you got, and you were born to win. So I need you to play to win right now. That means following directions. Don't play the way you think you should be playing. Play to win by following the system, following directions, because you are already a champion. Check your emails for the message, for the email at a glance. Log into the Focus Marketing System and check out the message from the top after 3 p.m. Make sure you're logging into the Focus Marketing System, you guys. That's your tool. That's the thing that sets us apart from every other team within the company. It's going to help you. But from the moment that you bring somebody in, I'll end with this. The moment that you bring somebody in, you're training them. So if you try to explain the business, you're training them to explain the business. If you don't take them through the proper channels to get 100% of the information, they're not going to take people through the channels to get 100% of the information. It's not about what you can do. It's about what you can duplicate. So if you want a big, thriving organization, we have to duplicate, and we have to all be on one spirit, one mind, and one tongue doing the same thing. And that's what's going to blow this thing up. So let's go out and let's have a successful Saturday. I got you back. See you at the top, and I will see you at the bank. Take care, everybody.